to Terry's Yarn Tales. I'm Terry, and I have been missing for a while on my YouTube channel. I had a passing of my father, and I'm finally back. I have a project that I've been working on. I found this beautiful blanket. I wanted to do a little review of it so that you could see how simple it is and how beautiful it turned out. You can do anything with it. You can use any colors you like. You can put any type of seam around it that you like. I was really going for a kind of more masculine look, so this waffle squared blanket really lent itself to that. And I made one and it was so beautiful that I decided to make a second one. I'm going to be showing you that and reviewing the pattern. I did a few things to change it up because I found when I made the first blanket exactly that in that way. Some of it was a little more difficult in the corners. So I kind of switched some of those things out to make it a little bit easier, but I think it still turned out beautiful in the second blanket. I'm really proud of it. I feel like it's something that my nephew will get to wrap himself in, and it'll just be like a big hug from his auntie. I will do a sample of what I did. I will also link below the actual YouTube video of the blanket that was done originally by a woman called Siren. I like to follow her channel, and she has a lot of really cool types of blankets that she does. And sometimes when I just don't feel like trying to create something or think outside the box, I will often go on and look at her blankets and go, oh, that's so beautiful. And it's all right there, easy for me to do, and I can just look it up. So I hope you enjoy what I'm going to show you, and that you'll peek in on her YouTube channel and see some of the beautiful blankets that she has there. All right, let's get started. The materials that you'll need for this project. The very first project that I did, I actually used a baby sport yarn, which is a medium weight, number 3. The second blanket, I just went into my yarn stash and I had some beautiful blue and white anti-pilling yarn in a medium 4 weight. And so that is what I have here, and that's what I used to make the second blanket. So you can decide whatever you want in terms of the thickness of the yarn. And the other nice thing about a blanket is you can decide whatever length that you want it to be. I typically, when I'm doing something for a baby, like to be, at least 36 inches wide and 36 inches long. That's just my preference. I think it makes the blanket long enough for a baby to lay on or to be able to wrap the baby up in. And also it's a blanket that can get used, from a newborn to a year old. And then perhaps after that become, I don't know, a lovey or just a favorite blanket to nap under. But you can make yours bigger, you can make it smaller. It's totally up to you. You just have to follow a few simple things. In particular, you need to make sure that you have the correct number of groupings of stitches so that your blanket comes out even and you have nice squares in this waffle blanket. That will be important. So you do have to pay attention to that. But other than that, this is a really simple project. It was fun to do. It came together fairly quickly for me, and I think it would be something that you would enjoy doing. So choose your yarn, whatever size you like. You'll need a pair of scissors. You'll also need, I prefer to use 2 different type of hooks. My first hook, which is the one that I use to do the interior of the blanket, whatever hook size goes with your yarn. In this particular one, I used a 5.5. And then when I do the outside portion of the blanket, the seaming, I like to use a hook that's a half measure shorter or a half measure below, which is a 5.0. So I use the 5.5 for the interior, and then I use the 5.0 for the seam around the edging. The other thing that you might notice is that these cute little things have dots on them, and these are those dot hooks that come from We Crochet. They were absolutely wonderful to work with, very smooth. I had no difficulties with them. They were easy to hold on to, and they were, in my opinion, very affordable. I have looked at other hooks that are more costly, and at this time for me, being able to get these, purchase these on We Crochet was wonderful. As well, you'll need a darning needle so that you can finish off any little edges you have. And then also a measuring tape is a good thing to have so that you can make sure and measure so you're getting the length that you want. Just remember that when you start with your first chain and you measure it, that is only going to include the inches that will be on the inside of the blanket. So when you put your edging on, that will give you, depending on how thick you do it, will give you possibly another 1/2 inch to 1 inch added on. We're going to start by making a slip knot. You can do this in whichever way you're used to. Okay, and then we are going to start chaining, and we need to chain it in multiples of 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And that's my multiples of 3. So 21, so it's multiples of 3 plus 2. 1, 2. All right, and now you're going to yarn over, and you're going to skip the first 2 chains. There's 1, there's 2, and you're going to go into this 3rd chain and go into the top of that. You're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, so you'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then you'll yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2, and that's your first double crochet. Right? So you're going to continue on in the same fashion. Yarn over the hook, go into the next top loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So you can see now I have 2. I have those first 2 chains that I skipped, and then I have the first double crochet and the second double crochet. And you are going to go all the way down, yarning over, putting through the hook through the loop, top loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And you're going to go all the way down the chain till you get to the end of this doing those double crochets. Okay? I'm going to go down the rest of this chain off camera, and I'll join you back when I get to the end. Okay, so now I am at the end of that row. This is what it looks like. Okay, and I have done that last chain in that last loop. And now a lot of people at this point would chain 2. I don't like to do that because I don't like this little like loop that you see here on the end. I don't like that look. I prefer a straight edge. Even though I'm going to go back and put an edging around it, I just like that straight edge. I think it's just more uniform, and it makes it easier when you're going to go back and put your edging on. And this is the way that I prefer to do it. I'm going to turn my work, and if you'll look here, you'll see there is this very first loop on top right here. I'm going to go through there, and under both of those under that loop, I'm going to go over both of the pieces of yarn. I'm going to yarn over and pull through a loop. So now I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops. So now I have done a double crochet. I'm going to go through this second loop here. So not the first one, but the second one. I'm going to go right through that, through the center of it. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and that gives me 2 more loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those. And what that does, if you look at it carefully, is that you'll see that it creates this filled part right here. So you don't have that sticking out loop that you would typically have if you did 2 single crochets. And then I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go through that not this double crochet, but the second one. I'm going to go behind it, and I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now I'll have 3 loops, and I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And so now I've created that first front post. Okay? And these front posts are important because they are actually what create that box waffle look. Okay? So I've done one. I'm going to yarn over and go through that stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 and pull through 2. So now I have that another double crochet. Now I need 2 of these, so I'm going to do another one. I'm going to yarn over, go through the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay? So then the next one I'm going to do, I need to do that front post so that I can get this again. So I'm going to yarn over, go through the post, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. All right, so you can see we're starting to create this little pocket right here that creates that waffle look, okay? And you'll notice it more as we do a few more of these. So now that I have a post, I need to do 2 double crochets in these 2 top stitches here. So I'm going to yarn over. And be careful, make sure that you look at this carefully because you want to make sure that you're going through this chain. Don't skip it and go through this one. You want to make sure you're going through the one that's next to this post that you just made. So yarn over, go through that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, you're going to do a double crochet in the next. And now that you have 2 double crochets, you need that post. So you're going to yarn over, go through the back of that post, pull up a stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is what it's beginning to look like. Okay? You have a post here, you have 2 double crochets, you have a post here, you have 2 double crochets, you have a post here. So the next part of the pattern is 2 double crochets, and you're going to do that all the way to the end. Again, here, if you are one of those people that's doing the 2 chains, you'll do your 2 chains. But I'm not doing that, so I am going to go ahead and turn my work. I'm going to go through that first chain that I just made there, that first stitch that I made. I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to yarn over and bring up a hoop. So I have 2. I'm going to go through those 2. Then I'm going to go back into that second loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So I have 2 more, and I'm going to go through those, and that's going to create that space that's going to get filled. So I don't have anything like any big 2 chain things sticking out here. Okay. And this is also good if you do this and you decide you don't want to put an edging on it. Then you have this nice straight edge. It looks good. It looks finished. You really don't have to do anything else to it. Now that you're on the back side of your work, you're starting your third row, you're going to yarn over and you're going to do a post by yarning over again and pulling up a loop and doing a double crochet here. Okay. Then you're going to do 1 double crochet into the stitch, the next stitch, and then you're going to do 2 front posts, double crochets, 1, and here's the second front post, double crochet. Okay. And again, what that does is that helps create that waffled look on the other side of the blanket. So when we get to the end of this and we turn it over, you'll start to see how that looks. So again, you're going to do 1 double crochet. You're going to go through the stitch and do 1 double crochet in the stitch. And then you're going to do 2 front post, which means you're going to yarn over, go through the post, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. And you're going to do that twice. And that's what creates that front, that post in the front. And that's why it's called a front post. So even though you are going through the back of that double crochet, the reason that they call it a front post is because you're creating a post on the front of your stitch there. Okay, so we've done 2, so now we're going to do 1. So in this row, it's the opposite of the row that you did before. You're doing 1 in the stitch and 2 front posts. One in the stitch and 2 front posts. Okay, so now we're getting to the end of this. You'll see we have 2 stitches here, so we're going to do, we've done the 2 posts, so we're going to do 1 in the stitch, and we're going to do the second one in the top of that double crochet. Now sometimes this can be a little tricky, but there we go. All right, and you can already see here on the edge, just from doing the way that I like to do my turns, you can see already here, this is nice and straight. There are no holes here, it's filled in. Okay, so if I didn't end up putting an edging on this, this would be perfectly fine. It would look good. It would be nice and straight, and it would feel like a nicely finished project. So again, I'm going to turn it. Okay, and if you look at this side, you can start to see where we have these waffles here. And when we get up to this top, you're really going to see the next set of waffles. So now we're on the 4th row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It takes 2 rows to create each of those waffles. So again, I am doing my preference here. I'm going to go into this stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to go into this second stitch here, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And then I'm going to start my waffles. And again, since I'm back on the front side, I'm going to do a front post double crochet in this first double crochet here on the bottom. And then I'm going to do 2 now in this next 2 stitches, the 2 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. And then I'm going to go back in that front post and do 1 front post. Then I'm going to do a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And I'm going to do a front post. So this is pretty repetitive, although I will say most of the stuff that we do when we crochet. It becomes pretty repetitive, but it's also really cool to just watch how all of these waffles begin to form. So you have a waffle here, one here, one here, one here. And this is, when I get to the end here, I'm going to have to do 2 stitches. So I'll do this one. And then I'll do the one that goes into this top one here. Okay. And so now you can just see it is so pretty the way that it turns out. So I would like to do another set of waffles, which means I'm going to have to come back this way and then go back, do 2 more rows. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll meet you back when I get to the end of this, and then we'll start talking about how to put the edging on. All right, so now that I have done the 3 sets of waffles, I would like to start working on the edging. So the way that you do that is, if you want to use a different color, you can get a different color. I've decided to use pink. If you weren't going to use different color, you would just pull the yarn through and chain 2. So if you are going to change colors here, you would want to not do the last stitch, leave those 2 loops on, and then what you'd want to do is put your next color on, which is, for me, it's this pink. And then you would want to, let's see if I can get it done here. You would want to pull that through. So let me get this on here. And I am not as good at this as I would like to be, but pull it through. Okay, this is what I will do. And then you want to do your chain 2. Okay, so now I have 2 chains on here, and my goal at this point, typically for me, I will tie this together. Some people don't do that. They just put it down and crochet it in. I like to tie it together. I just do a little square knot here because I don't like, especially if it's a gift and I'm giving it to somebody, I don't want it to have the chance to come apart. And so I will tie that. So I'm going to leave it out for now as I'm going down this so that I can show you what we're doing, right? So the goal is to have an odd number of stitches, and so the best way to do this is to get 3 stitches in this little edge here before you get to the next little waffle unit, is what I call it. So what I'll do, these 2 chains here will count as one. So I will yarn over, and typically what I like to do is kind of look here and see I've got a hole right here, so I'm going to go through here and I'm going to do a double crochet here, 1, 2, and then I will look over here and see that I have another hole right here, so I'm going to double crochet here, 1, 2. I'm going to skip down and go to the next hole that I see, and I'm going to double crochet in that, 1, 2. I'm going to double crochet in here, 1, 2. I'm going to go down to the next hole that I see here and double crochet into that, 1, 2. So what I'm really aiming for is to have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, 3 here, 1, 2. I'll do 1 here, 1, 2, and then I'll do 1 in the edge here, 1 and 2. And again, you want to be sure that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You want to make sure that you have an uneven number across here. Don't worry too much if it doesn't look perfectly even. In the end, that isn't going to matter. Once you start to do the front and back post double crochets, this is just going to even out and it's not going to matter. Okay, so now we're at the corner. You're going to yarn over and you're going to insert into the corner, and you're going to make 3 double crochets in this corner. All right, so there's my 3 double crochets, and now you are going to be coming down this line of stitches, and you are going to do a double crochet in each one of these stitches. Okay, and make sure that you count these, because again, before you get to this corner, this has to be an odd number. Okay, it has to be an odd number. And it looks like this is going to be an even number. It looks like it's going to be 20. And so it is suggested by the original person, Siren, who did this before me, that this number should be an odd number. So if you end up with an odd number, you can do an extra crochet, or you can do one less. So let's see what happens if we do, let's just put one extra one in there. So let's see, that's, let's see, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This one would be 21. Put an extra one here. So I'll do 21, and then I will do 3 in the corner. I'm going to do 3 in the corner. All right. And now you're back down to the side. And you will have this tail because you went across the bottom, so you can either weave that in or you can stitch across it. Again, my preference is to weave it in. That's just my preference. I like to make sure that things are nice and tidy. That's just my personality. So you do you. So we're back down to the side here. I want to be sure that I do not stitch in this one. So I'm going to make sure that I get my 3 up here. So let's do 1 in this first hole, big hole. It's going to be 1 double crochet. This will be my second double crochet, and let's see, and this will be my 3rd double crochet. And then again, I'm going to go through the big one, big hole, and then the smaller hole, and then through this hole. Again, I'm only doing 3 in each of the little waffled areas. I'm doing 3, okay? So I know for sure that this is going to end up being an odd number, because 9 is an odd number and I've only got 3 stacks here. So if I ended up with an even number, like if I ended up with 12, then if I was doing 4 and I end up with 12, you would need to put an extra one in because you want to make sure that these end up being an odd number, okay? But I'm only doing 3 in each one, and I've only got 3 waffles here, so I know it's going to be 9. I know it's going to be an odd number. So let's see, we'll do that one, and then this one, and then this one, oh, and then this one. And then I'm going to go through the corner here again and do 3 double crochets in this corner. 1, 2, and 3. All right. So you can see how it's looking. It's so pretty. I really like the way that the whole waffle look. It's pretty. And even with the pink on it, it's really, it's just very flattering, doing a different color around the edges and mixing colors and stuff. It just lends itself beautifully to that. So I'm back around this corner again. I'm going to head down. I'm going to do every stitch, and I want to make sure that I end up with a odd number. So make sure you go through, make sure you count your stitches. Right, and remember that's 20, and we said that we needed it to be that odd number. So I can add one or I can leave one off. And I have decided that I am going to add one here. Since I added one on the other side, I'm just going to go ahead and add one here. And I'm just going to do it in the same spot. All right. And so here I have that corner one. So I'm going to go ahead and yarn over, and I'm going to do 3. I need 3 in this corner. 1, 2, and 3. And then I am going to go into this top of this double crochet that I did here, and I'm going to slip stitch it. Oops. Might be a little tricky at first, but just do your best. Or it might be a lot tricky. There we go. Pull it through and then pull through. Oh, okay. And then pull it through, and then you should have it. It should be joined there with that double crochet. Okay. All right, and so then this is what you have. I also want to mention to you at this point that I went ahead and did this edging. I did not switch down to my smaller hook. You can switch down to your smaller hook. All right, so now that we've done the slip stitch, we're going to make a double crochet. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to go around this first post, go around it through the back, pull up a loop, and yarn through 2 and yarn through 2, and that is your back post double crochet. Then you're going to go around the front, pull up a loop, yarn through 2, and that's your front post. Then you're going to yarn over and go around the back, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now you have another back post. And you're just doing alternative front post, back post, front post, back post, front post, back post. Okay, so now in each of these I started out with a back post. So I did a back post and a front post and a back post and a front post and a back post and a front post and a back post and a front post. And then I did a back post for my last one. And then here is your 3 in the center. All right. Now, the way that I do mine, because this is just easier for me, I didn't want to have to go through the front, go through the back, go through the front, go through the back on this center one. So what I did was I just went ahead and yarn over, and in this first double crochet, I put 1 double crochet. Then in the center double crochet stitch, I put 3. 2 and 3. And then in the next one, I put 1. All right, and that's how I created my corner. Right? And so now that I'm going to the next one here, on this one, I'm going to do a back post double crochet, because that's what I did over here. So whatever I finished with over here is what I'm going to start with over here. All right, so I finished with a back post here. I'm going to start with a back post here. So I did a back post, and I'm going to do a front post. And again, here you're just alternating again, back post, front post, back post, front post. If you ever get confused, you can just stop, lay your work down and take a look at it, and you can see back post, front post, back post, front post. Okay, so you'll know where you are and you don't get lost. All right. Okay, so now you can see I'm at the end of this row, and I started with a back post, front post, back post, front post, back post, front post, back post, and went all the way down. And this is the beauty of having those odd numbers. I'm ending again on a back post. I have these 3 here in the center, double crochets, and in the first one, like I did on the other corner, I'm going to do 1 double crochet. I'm going to go through the stitch and do 1 double crochet, and then in the middle I'm going to do 3, 2 and 3, and then in the next one I'm going to do 1. And since I ended with a back post over here, I am going to start with a back post over here. So I'm going to go through the back and do my back post. Go through the front and do my front post. Back and front. And don't worry if you screw this up. Sometimes I get going and then I'm like, oops, I did 2 back posts, or I did 2 front posts. I mean, nobody likes to frog, but you can pretty quickly see when you start to get, you know, if you've done 2, because you're like, oh, that's a waffle. That's not correct. You'll see it pretty quickly. So, you know, this actually works up very quickly. So I'm going to keep doing that, and you can see how this is becoming around the edge here. It's becoming very textured, just like the waffles. And I just think it's beautiful. I love it. All right, so I'm going to finish this portion here, and I'll meet you when I get to the end. So now I'm at the end where I have that done that back double crochet, the back post double crochet, and now I'm going to head into this corner with 1 double crochet in that first corner stitch. And then 3 in the center. 1, 2, and 3, and then 1 in this last stitch. And then I want to go here to this where the double crochet was that I did before, and I want to get into that top stitch there and do a slip stitch. Sometimes this takes a little bit of maneuvering. I'm going to get in, there we go, and pull through a loop and then pull through that stitch and get that slip stitch going. Okay, so at this point you can say, you know, oh, I really like it, it's beautiful, I wanted to do, you know, 1 round, that looks really terrific, I like it, it's perfect, and you could stop there. And then what you would just do is you would pull this yarn up, clip it, pull it through, and then weave in your end. All right. But what I find is when I'm doing a larger project, this typically one time around doesn't look like enough for me. I really need to do a second round. And so you would just do the same thing. I'm going to take you through the second round. There's only one small difference. You're going to actually just follow what you did the first time, and you're going to make that, you know, those 2 chains, and then look at your pattern. This was a back post you started with, so you're going to go ahead and do a back post. Pull it up. Okay, and your next one is a front post double crochet. You're going to do that. Pull it up, pull it through those 2, pull it through those 2, and again a back post and a front post. And then you're going to get here and do your last back post, just as before, except this time you're going to see that you have done, you've got 5 stitches here. You've got a single crochet in this stitch, 3 in the corner, and then 1 in the 3rd stitch at the end. So we're going to kind of do the same thing, except we're going to do the corner with those double crochets, but we're going to do 1 in the 1st stitch. We'll do a double crochet in the 2nd stitch. Okay, and then now you're in that middle 3rd stitch, you're going to do 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then in this one, the next one, you're going to do 1 single crochet, and in the next one, you're going to do 1 single crochet, and then you're going to start on that back post. Make a back post, then make a front post, then make a back post, then make a front post. And you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, so you can see it starts to form a bit of a pattern here. And I like this. In the other video, Siren does the corners differently. I prefer this just because it's a little bit simpler. And I don't have to struggle so much with the yarn going in the front and back posts. So for me, this is a solution, and it works well. This looks rather large on this small piece, but when you're doing a very large blanket, like the one that I did here, this blue one that I did, and I'll bring it over and show you, it does not look large at all. See? It just looks beautiful as a part of the blanket. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day.
I hope you'll give this project a try. If you do, please leave a picture of your finished project below. If you enjoyed this video and found it to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of my creations and tutorials, hit the subscribe button, click on the bell so that you'll know when I post my videos. Thanks so much for joining me today.